Love Crumbs is an indie folk rock group based in Massachusetts. Starting out as a mere folk rock trio, emphasis on folk, Love Crumbs has evolved into a seven-piece folk rock band, emphasis on rock. Poignant emotional lyrics paired with impeccable musicianship and double barrel, powerful vocalists. Love Crumbs is a band you need to stream and see live. Hello, Michael and Allie from the band Love Crumbs. Hello.
Hello, Mark.
Hey.
Thank you for
Hey, Mark.
joining me today.
Thanks for
Um,
having us.
I hate to belabor this. I don't know. Well, I haven't really talked to you about this, but um, it keeps coming up when I listen to your music. Did you coin the term yacht folk?
No, not personally. Like we we got an article in American Songwriter, which was a big deal for us. I just, kind of cold reached out to the CEO, and he's like, "Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, let's do it." And he assigned it to a writer, and that is the phrase that he put on the song Ellipses, which is like, I don't feel like it has any elements of yacht rock. You know what I mean? It's like a little folky. I'd say it's like indie folk. It got on some uh, Spotify editorial indie playlist. So I don't know. That's how he felt it. That's how he interpreted the song. And
Hmm.
I wish he said cooler stuff, because then we could quote it in our bios and stuff like that. But there was pretty much nothing in there that we could.
I would argue yacht is not it's not what it used to mean. Since It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia has become such a popular show, and yacht rock has become so popular via that show because of their like funny,
Oh.
obsession with it. I think it's not as like a we kind of maybe think of it as like a derogatory term if you're trying to be cool. But yacht rock I think is cool now. A lot of things that we think of as maybe being like, a little corny have become less corny by, yeah, like pop culture embracing it. So I'm fine with it. I don't think it is an accurate like representation of what we are as a whole, but I think it's kind of adorable and I don't mind it that much.
I think when I first read that in the article, it was like it hit me. I was like, I can see that in a way, a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. I think people who like yacht rock, even though to me Ellipses does not have like that much of a yacht rock like influence, if people who like that music also like that song, then great. Then I,
Yeah.
I don't
All the
mind the
merry.
affiliation.
It's kind of
Yeah,
chill in a way, and
Yeah.
it is chill. That's the part I think that there is an overlap in the Venn diagram of yacht rock, and is that, yeah, it does have a
Totally.
very chill vibe. Yeah.
and like you said, it had the hooks too.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. All about them
Totally.
hooks.
Oh yeah,
A
How about them hood?
Christopher
hook for
Cross and Michael McDonald and all those hook makers.
yeah.
So,
That's right. That's right.
we're not far away from the Green River Festival, and this is not
Woo.
your first rodeo at the Green River Festival. Do you
Yeah.
have any favorite memories from the last time you were there?
Well, that's a good question. I think my favorite, the one that immediately popped up was was being like kind of, so there's the front row, and then there's like gates, and then you could kind of, you have like backstage access, and so I could get between the front row and the stage to see Waxahachie. And that was like that was awesome. The whole show was great. I got to meet her briefly, but it was just seeing the show like that up close was like very cool. I definitely like played out her records and stuff like that,
I
and it
talk
was
to a lot of people, and they tell about how starstruck they are when they go to the festivals. But I'm thinking like, what did it mean for you to like be performing at the festival?
yeah.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I was not on that weekend that we played last time. I was not able to stay for much of the festival. So really, my biggest like the memory for me is like playing there and right afterwards. I stayed for a little bit, but I didn't get to see any of the big acts. And for me, it was an extremely hot day, like so much so that people had to kind of like camp out away from right in front of us. There
Yep.
was like a tent in front of us that people were sort of protected from the awful like direct heat and sun. And then they were sort of all like tucked away, like in all these little enclaves on the outside. So when you're playing, there were a good amount of people in front of us, but I knew there were lots of people that were out of sight. And then right afterwards, that feeling of having the people kind of like come out and talk to you, I was like, oh, this is so cool. Like how funny to not see them directly while you're playing, still feel a really great vibe from the people that were there, but then have this sort of cool like, hey, we were listening, we heard you perfectly, because they were all in really good sonic spots.
Yeah.
They just couldn't be right under the direct sun, and who could blame them? So yeah, I loved that part of it. I met so many great people that day, and still sometimes Michael and I will be other places playing, and someone will come up with a shirt with our name on the back of it, which by the way, like we joined that roster kind of late in the game and we weren't on some of the main graphics. People had special shirts made with our name on the back of it.
Cool.
It was really, really sweet. Like just recently, someone came up to us in Boston at the Lizard Lounge with that, and I was like, that is so cool. When we were at Catbird Festival, which is a pretty big festival, it didn't carry over this year, but they did two up at Bethel Woods, and yeah, we saw various people that were there that year, and it felt amazing, because we were so new. We were so new then, so really cool.
I was standing in the front row during that show, and it was you had an amazing
You were?
performance. Yeah.
Were you really?
Oh, thank you.
Wow.
Awesome.
That's
yeah,
amazing.
it did feel like, yeah, I think the overwhelming feeling for me for getting to play Green River is gratitude. You know what I mean? I grew up in West Springfield and like always loved Green River. And I think it's not something I take for granted that that we're there, or that people like want to hear anything we do, because I think the vast majority of music is stuff people don't want to hear. You know what I mean? When it comes to like the local music scene, and that gets no traction. And I've certainly been in bands like that where it was like we liked it, but other people, we'd have our friends in the audience and only our friends, and their girlfriends and things like that. So it's like it's very cool, and like I won't say, the feeling is more than I deserve. Although a lot of people would be like, no, you totally deserve to be there. Like it makes sense and stuff like that. But yeah, that's a gratitude feeling.
The thing I love about Green River Festival is they do a great job of having nationally known acts and internationally as well as local artists.
Yeah.
They do a good mix.
Really, for sure. Local, emerging, yeah, for sure. And a lot of people that play there, when they are local / emerging artists, do end up going on to do bigger things, and so they're like a trustworthy curator in that sense. Like that's the nice thing about the people that book this festival and that have been involved in it in so long is they're often right about the smaller artists that they do like showcase there. They go on to do bigger and better things, and that. So it's all the more like I feel all the more gratitude to be a part of it, because it's like, oh, these people aren't just like finding someone that's like maybe popular, flash in the pan around. Like these are people we think have the capacity to grow and have longevity. So that's really nice.
That's a great observation. And bands like Cloudbelly that you have had a great collaboration with on Vacant Dream. And Cloudbelly will be performing at Green River Festival this year as well. Michael, I love what you said about having expectations when a loved one is struggling with addiction. Can you explain how this relates to the song title? And I think a lot of people, I think it'll be helpful for a lot of people who are in a similar situation.
Yeah, beautiful.
Oh, thanks for saying that. Yeah, so the song is about my brother, who I was really close to my brother growing up. We're like a year and a half apart, and we both learned to play guitar together, and we were in bands together, and we had the same friend group in high school. and stuff like that. And he was one of my best friends, and we both fell into addiction. And I got clean, and I kept thinking like he would get clean, and he was right behind me. That surely, and he had made passing attempts and stuff like that, but he just never got clean. And it had been a decade plus, like early 20s to like mid 30s, and like he wouldn't like respond to phone calls like for like years at a time, and like, so part of, I wasn't sure if he was going to die, I'm getting emotional talking about it now. I thought he might die. And that, after years of like kind of bargaining with him and trying to say, hey man, come on, let's go to rehab, let's go to a meeting. I had to accept that there wasn't anything that I could do. And further, that like even more sad than that it was kind of like a hopeless dream, and that I had to, the Al-Anon kind of thing is like to detach with love, like love him, but no longer kind of expect or want or anything for him to get and stay clean. That's kind of based on almost delusional thinking or super harmful thinking. I get so depressed, and only 1% of addicts get clean for a year or more. You know what I mean? 5% seek recovery, 1% get clean for a year or more. And, kind of miraculously, he is coming up on his second year clean, my brother, and is working as a recovery counselor. It's all like stuff that like kind of I could have never predicted. If you told me that, I'd say no way. But I'm so proud of him, and he's come to life.
I'm happy to hear that it's working out for him and for you.
It's a happy ending.
Yeah, it's also one of the most personal songs. I think I read somewhere where about writing that song. You said you were going to try to be more vulnerable in your writing and focus
Yes.
less on the hooks and stuff.
Sure,
Has
yeah.
that been the case?
Yeah, I've definitely written, it's been interesting. I have written a few songs that have been all the way vulnerable. And like when I do, I think it's palpable. I'm not trying to toot my own horn or whatever, but I think when people write from a vulnerable place, it's like a more felt thing. Also being in a 7-piece band now and doing like more of an indie rock thing, sometimes it's just a hook-based song as well. It's always honest, but like kind of coming from writing when I was like in high school and things like that, there'd be so much abstraction that you wouldn't know what the song meant, and I think that's true for cavalcades and ellipses. It's like not necessarily obvious unless I say, here's what the song is about, which is totally okay, totally its own category of song. And even in the songs that like where the hook is the primary thing, which I do love hook writing, like it, I'm trying to be more honest and more like forthright with what the song is about, even if it doesn't like, if it's not this like kind of pulling out like excruciating writing process where it's like I'm kind of laying bare my soul. But I like both types. We've kind of moved a little bit away from the folk arena, and as such it's like, I feel so I have some unreleased stuff that is more like that. So, and I'm looking forward to writing more.
It's funny you mentioned you're in a 7-piece band now. When I first heard Cavalcades, you were just a trio. And I wanted to ask you about adding Alyssa on vocals. I mean, you've already got some eye candy, some amazing, powerful vocals from Allie. What was the reasoning for putting in Alyssa? Did you want an understudy because Allie might get hit by a bus?
Funny you say. I mean, so one thing is, so we Michael and I were a folk band, for about 3 years, and I loved his songs expressed in a folk expression. I mean, there's a better way to say that, but all the time I was saying to him, like, man, I feel like a lot of these songs, like if we play them in like a more rock way, would be even more dynamic. That's it. Like the songs can exist many ways, right? Like, so it's like me and him acoustic, maybe me and him acoustic with upright bass and one other person, or like expressed a different way with different people. So when we got the opportunity to play Catbird Festival via Gala, so Gala is our label, like it's an NFT label, and it's not A&R, it's not a traditional label. They don't own publishing or anything like that, but they're a platform that enable you to sell NFTs of your music. So the people that purchase your music are invested in you. I mean, not technically. This is not financial advice, TFA, but they're buying the NFTs because they believe in the band going somewhere. And when we won that festival, and I had just kind of met these guys, we were still sort of functioning like we weren't really sure what direction we were going in. So I met this group of people, and it worked out great. Like they're Berkeley students. They have a really dynamic jazz / rock background, and another female vocalist who can do things I can't do. So I'm I sing the way I sing. I don't have like the belting, like the big high note belting things that she can do. So it worked so well with the song that we co-wrote with another artist from Gala. It was just like, well, this is an obvious, like it's an obvious way to go. So it really worked out well. I think we signed with Gala when we were way folkier, and we have a lot of folky stuff out on Gala still. But I think what made us like kind of break through in terms of what people really love from us is that like full band feeling.
Mhm.
And yeah, I mean, dynamically watching a band like with a big, group, and especially like in a jam arena, having a couple of female vocalists is a boon that a lot of people don't have.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the jam band vocalists are male. They're not female. There's not that many. So having two is really cool,
I spent a greater part of this week listening to some concert you did with the recent lineup, and it was very powerful. And I was thinking at the time, it was like the only time you really see another band that I could think of with like two lead vocalists, two male vocalists, is Dropkick Murphys, and it works for them, and I think it helps you stand out too as well.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, the Dead has been to me like I have a Grateful Dead background, so there's always been Bobby and Jerry.
Yep.
And are gonna go, who do you like more? I mean, there's people who like one or the other more, and they also all have their own songwriters, and then they have a third singer. So like you'll always have people that like a certain thing more, but having more to me is always better when it comes to like dynamic music. Just having more, or Fleetwood Mac. Even it's like Stevie. When you say Fleetwood Mac, you think of Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham, but there are 5 people in that band, and some of the songs that Christine McVie sings are the best songs.
Yep.
Right? Songbird, You Make Lovin' Fun, Little Lies.
Yep.
Those are some of the best ones, and she sings a small percentage of songs.
Mm.
So it's about like I mean that's what it is to me.
That's a great analogy. Yeah.
I'd say also the Beatles with Lennon and McCartney had 2
Yep.
lead singers and a third singer in George Harrison, like with like Here Comes the Sun is their #1 song on Spotify.
Wow.
And so yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah, and Pink Floyd too, Roger Waters and David Gilmour. David Gilmour sang Comfortably Numb, and a bunch of tunes. Definitely Roger Waters was the main lead, but yeah, I think there are good examples historically, and I think just be like you said, people to bring different sauce, different flavor, which is nice. Yeah.
I love it, and keep doing it.
Yeah, thanks.
Ali, I wanted to ask you a question. When I spoke with Michael on our Essential Western New England Songbook special for the New Music Alliance, I noted that there seems to be a special symbiotic relationship between you two, him writing some very powerful songs with emotional lyrics, and you with the ability to convey emotion through your powerful voice. I'd love to hear how you feel about this pairing and between the two of you.
Yeah, I think the difference between Mike and I in terms of writing is that he has the ability to distill and make hooky things that I feel. So I'm like I feel a lot, you know, I feel a lot, and I think I have a lot to offer in terms of like lyrics and melody and stuff, but I'm not good at distilling. I'm not good at like you know, boiling those things down to like something that is marketable. So I feel a lot, and people respond to that, but in terms of distilling it, that's not me. It's not my strength. So having someone like him who has known me for such a long time and knows me so implicitly. Like so he's known me. We met what in our early 30s, Mike. He's
20s.
known me 20s, maybe my late 20s. That could be right.
Yeah.
You know, he's known me for a long time and so really knows me. So when he writes, even though he's writing from his own experience, he is like bridging in a lot of my experience. I'm very confessional as a person. I don't shy away from I don't like have a cultivated, carefully, you know, cultivated what do you want to call it? Like persona. So I'm really confessional, and I think that Michael can like draw on things from his own life and pull mine into it and make it so that it's very easy for me to express it emotionally.
Mm.
I don't have to think hard, and I don't have to. There's no act involved in anything I have to do that he writes, and you know, I mean, when I write for myself, it's meandering and you know, it's not hooky, which means it doesn't mean it's not good. It just means that like it's only going to serve like a certain amount of people. Like it's not going to be broadly accepted. So I love that Michael and I met when we did and have this long-standing relationship we have, because even as we grow and change, like all the base stuff is still there, and I can still draw from all of it, even if it's not relevant right now anymore. It's relevant to me in the past, or even just to people I care about. So yeah, that's why I feel so like, you know, super tied to him in terms of creative trajectory.
That's
I guess I should
cool.
say.
Thank you for sharing that. That's a really cool response. We're running out of time, so I want to ask you quickly. Are you working on a new album, or do you have anything coming up?
Yeah, we're working on a full LP, and everything is already recorded, so it's in production right now. Yeah, so we're very excited about that. I'm very. I've never released an LP, period. You know, and I figure, you know, I think just figured out how important production was like 4 years ago. You know, and started to make like well produced songs, which has nothing to do with me or anything like that, but you know, our producer, various producers we worked with, and yeah, so excited, like so excited, and it's really coming together, you know.
Oh, awesome. Well, keep me informed, and I'm
For
sure
sure.
we'll be playing something on the New Music Alliance and also on something different at WECS. Do you have time for a quick game?
Of
Do it.
course.
A real fun game. So
Fun.
this is called Lyrical Ponderings. I'm
Mm,
going to give you a song title.
mm,
The song title is in the form of a question.
mm.
You can either tell me who sang the song or answer the question.
Fun. Okay, I love that. Yeah, let's do it.
Is it also a competition where I could beat Mike? Because then that'll make me even like be more engaged.
No, don't do like I think well either one of us will answer first, but it might be hard to do on Zoom.
You're like,
I'd
no,
love
no,
to
no, no.
I'd love to beat you. I'd love to beat you in real life, but I don't know if it'll work over this format.
All right. Get your
JK,
hands on the
There you go.
buzzers.
Okay,
All right.
there we go.
Pick a number between 1 and 201.
35.
148.
All right. I'm near 148. I'll give you that one.
Huh.
You're already winning it.
Okay.
I know.
You ready?
Yep.
Why can't this be love?
It's alone. Is
Because
that the song?
why can't this be love? I can tell you
Yeah, I
why
don't
it
know who
can't be
sings
love.
that.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Why can't this be love? I'll answer you right now. Because this is not love. This is obsession. It's codependency. You
There you
think you
go.
love the person, but you don't. You're just addicted to the feeling of what love is. You think you know what love is, but it's not. Love is
Battlefield.
love is a battle. Absolutely. Love is a battlefield. No,
That is
I
an
mean, not just,
awesome
yeah.
answer. And you've been there before, haven't you?
I would say yes. The answer is yes.
That was Van Halen in 1986.
Yeah, yeah.
Beautiful.
Van Halen, yeah.
I was 5. I already knew all about this then. So there we go.
That's
Love is
awesome.
about.
Are we gonna hit with another one, or is that it?
Yeah, do another. There's gotta be another.
All right, what'd you say? 43?
35.
Okay.
I started.
35. Oh, okay. Oh, here we go.
Michael.
Oh, this is an easy one. Most people don't get these. You're gonna get this one. I know you're gonna get this one. Who are you?
Oh, by the
Wow.
Who? I am
Wow,
a
Ding,
man.
ding, ding.
I am 39 years old. I am a musician for Love Crumbs. Yeah. Thumbs up. I'm anything. I'm multifaceted. You know what I mean? It can't all. We already did a
Who
whole
are
interview.
you, buddy?
And everybody's going to find out just how talented you are when they show up to the Green River Festival. You are performing this year at
Saturday.
At noon at the back porch stage.
Saturday, the 22nd, at the back porch stage. I will
Yes.
be there. I will be cheering you on, and I can't wait to
Awesome.
see you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank
It'll be
you.
great to see you too. Yeah.
Thank you, Michael.
Thanks for
Thank
having
you,
us today.
Allie, and best of luck
Thank you.
with the new album.
Thanks so much. All right.
Thanks.
Bye.
Great to talk to you. See ya.